You're listening to the Everyday Astrology Podcast. I'm Hilary Scott, your astrologer, and this is the forecast for the week of February 5th. Lots is going down this week. We have a new moon in Aquarius on the 9th, but we also have some heavy planetary contacts, aspects, if you will, that are influencing us very much so right now. Pluto is conjunct Mercury. That's very interesting because it's making our thoughts and our communications much deeper. The desire to go much deeper and unearth things that maybe we didn't even know were there and communicate about how we're feeling could be coming up. So do note that you might be triggered with this energy. The same day on the 5th, when the exact conjunction happens between Mercury and Pluto, Mercury will have just gone into Aquarius. So we're definitely going to feel a different flavor of energy because Mercury in Capricorn would have been a lot more specific and maybe strategic, and Mercury in Aquarius is comfortable and happy to explore ideas and situations and people, and for everybody to be themselves and for all of us to think independently. It's a very open-minded energy and very way-showing sort of genius thought leader energy as well. But with it conjunct Pluto, it adds this depth. Perhaps secrets will be revealed, things that were hidden are exposed. Pluto is very good at, especially if there's some sort of negative, I don't know, if you've told a lie or if you've done something harmful, or like especially around lies, Pluto will, especially conjunct Mercury, will expose this. So if you are somebody that maybe told a mistruth, better watch out, because that can be something that gets thrown in your face at this time. Just the exposure of untruth is very much pertinent and at the forefront with this energy, but also just being able to explore the depths of ideas and thoughts and situations. With the Aquarian flavor, you can do it from a more detached perspective, so you don't feel so mired in the emotions of it, but more up in your head, kind of, oh, I can think this through or understand it from this perspective. It gives us a little distance from what we're pondering. So that should be quite interesting to experience. We're all going to be feeling this. It's also happening next week too, when Venus and Mars both move into Aquarius as well. So we're going to be experiencing this feeling of things coming up. It could be we've entered this new terrain in Aquarius. So it could actually be where something that used to trigger you is no longer triggering you, and you can ponder that and realize, hey, you've actually made it. You've gotten through this triggering thing and you're no longer at the mercy of it, but you can react from a more distant and less emotional space now, which, how exciting, because being at the whim of your emotional triggers is no fun for anybody. But at the same time, we do want to feel our feelings as they come up. Otherwise, we're going to suppress them, and they're going to cause all manner of subconscious behavior that undermines us and sabotages us. So feel your feelings, but you might just find that they don't feel like they used to feel, which is liberating, which is what Aquarius loves to do, is liberate. On Wednesday, heading up to the new moon on the 9th, we have a big day of energy. Venus will be trine Uranus. The moon is also conjunct and trine Uranus, which is pretty interesting. And also we have Mars sextiling Neptune. So this day you will be able to tap into what you value, in the sense of how can you value your own originality, your own unique self. Also, people and situations, maybe you'll have unusual people or circumstances come into your life that provide you with an opportunity. Sometimes the opportunity will have great value that you didn't even expect. It'll just suddenly fall into your lap. But with Venus tied in, it could be like an unexpected win, something, maybe a contract or a client or an award or a promotion or some kind of win that you receive for being yourself, which, yay, who doesn't want that? Just being you is totally enough in this world. That's really what we're after, is that sense of satisfaction that we can be ourselves and we can be loved and accepted and supported and honored for being ourselves. So this is the kind of energy to expect with Venus trining the Uranus energy. Also, Mars is sextiling Neptune that day. So perhaps you want to write something lovely. Maybe you want to put your energy to expressing unusual ideas or thoughts. Also spirituality, however you can connect into your own spiritual ideals. Perhaps you do something in a selfless, of service type of way for others with this energy. There is an opportunity here for you to tap in and use your power for the greater good. And by using your power, even just by raising your own vibration and tapping into your own joy and like what makes you happy and feel satisfied, and all those things can help raise your vibration, therefore helping raise up the level of energy on the planet, especially all of the people that are in your impact zone, the people around you that you touch lives with all the time could be definitely helped by this energy. So tap into it. On the 8th of February, the moon will be moving into Aquarius, heading towards the new moon on the 9th. And it's a big day. We've got some complicated energies, I guess would be a good way to put it. The sun is going to be squaring Uranus, and the sun is our identity, how we identify ourselves, how we relate to our ego. And Uranus is that principle of being unbounded, not being tied down. Unbounded is not being tied down. Also being free and expressive, and also the collective energy is in there. Like the Aquarian energy very much wants to work for the whole of humanity, or the collective, the community. That's tied in. So there could be some sort of like standoff, I guess would be a good way to look at it, between like the individual and the society in some way, or maybe what you need to do in the world for, or maybe like who you are relating to society isn't fitting in quite well enough, which is interesting because it's Uranus. So it's very much be yourself, be free, do what you want. But then there's the sun, which is like, well, no, I need to do this or I need to do that. Uranus is in Taurus right now, which it's challenged there because Uranus is all about changing and moving and shifting and innovating. And Taurus is about staying the same. Let's just stay the same. How lovely for us to just stay the same and do what we love over and over and over again. So you might be feeling this sort of agitated, nervous energy that can be quite unsettling. So that's okay. You can make sure that you do things to keep grounded, deep breathing, things that will help you tap into just calming yourself, calming your nervous system. Whatever you make sure you're well fed, you don't go hungry. Stay away from sugar or stimulants, because when the Uranus energy is active, there's a lot of just electrical energy in the air, which can make you feel really anxious and agitated. And you don't want that. That doesn't feel good. So this could be a challenging day. Keep an eye out for extreme weather, things that are happening in the weather that are unusual or unexpected. So make sure you are prepared for anything if you're out traveling, because it's a shifty world that we live in. Also, that same day, the moon will be conjunct Pluto and Mercury, highlighting again this depth. There's a real depth going on to the things that are happening around you right now. Emotionally, also, what is coming up for you? Is there stuff from the past? Is there some sort of injury or betrayal or wound that hasn't been dealt with yet? Because that could be rising and you need to deal with it. And usually, really, what you do to deal with it is let yourself feel it. Just feel it. I mean, we can spend our lives running from shitty feelings, but they'll catch up to you somehow, some way, whether they're reflected back at you through your relationships, outside of yourself or whether you're in some sort of tangly mess because you wouldn't feel your feelings. This is sort of doubly important right now because the North Node, which represents where we're going in the collective, in our own lives as well, but North Node right now for humanity is in Aries, and it will be conjunct Chiron. That's really big healing energy, very big. Like I think, especially because it's the North Node where we're going, the collective future is in a connection with Chiron, which is very much about healing the wound to the self. So it could be that we're in for some maybe collective wounding. The thing with Chiron, when it's triggered, it's often will be you're either wounded, you've wounded someone else, or you're healing from a wound. So that all could play in. I think because it's the North Node that we are healing. There's some kind of healing going forth that we are able to take what we've learned from the past, where the South Node is, and bring it with us into the future. And that is important because we don't want to just like throw away the entire past. There's things we've learned. There's things we've gained in wisdom and situations, so we don't have to keep repeating it, which is really great. But we don't want to get stuck there either. So this energy will very much help us heal whatever we need to heal to move forth. So be willing to look at whatever comes up. You don't know what's going to come up until it comes up. That's how it is. It comes from the depths. Pluto rules the underworld, but it also rules the underworld in a way that helps, especially if we're here for the greater good of all, and what we're doing is to benefit everyone from a place of love. Then Pluto is there to support us to release the power that we've lost by suppressing the things that scare us. We want to release the power. We want to tap into our total true selves. This can be helpful for that. The new moon is on the 9th. Now, the new moon is a wonderful time for you to tap into what you want to create in the world, tap into what you're going to plant the seeds of so that you can see them sprout. What is it that you want to see become of your life, become of your community, become of the collective, of the earth, of the galaxy? Like, think as big as you can. It's very much the more you think of others, the better off you are because you're part of a community. And you want to be part of a community because there's strength in numbers. But with this Aquarian energy, it's very likely that you'll be part of a community that you belong in. You won't be like the freak or the reject or the weirdo or the person who talks too much about astrology or whatever you're interested in. It'll be people will understand what you're talking about. They'll be interested in what you're talking about, and you will be interested in what they're talking about. And it'll be a nice little mix of very like-minded companions. That's the kind of energy that you get here. Very open-hearted, open-minded energy. There is this square to Uranus, so it's it could be taxing your emotions in some way. Maybe it's scary that you have to be this new person. You're emotionally concerned about that or nervous, and you could feel this anxious, nervous energy going on. But very likely you're going to feel really good about being who you are. You might have to kind of get over a few bumps emotionally, but other than that, you should feel pretty great. It is a very powerful new moon energy, so plant your seeds. There's all this stuff that has come up to make you aware of what's buried. So make sure that you use what you learn when you're planning your next steps, because this new moon, what seeds do you want to plant? What do you want to create in your life? What kind of world do you want to live in? This is all very important information right now, and we have support. I mean, we always have support. We always, in the very least, have our own selves to support us and our own higher selves to help guide us and connect us to what direction we need to go to live our best lives. So this energy, you can really tap into that. On Saturday, still very much in the new moon energy, we have the Lunar New Year, and it's going to be in the year of the dragon. I believe it's the wood dragon. Feel that we can all tap into the strength and the power of that energy this year and feel very supported and very creative and original and wise and psychic and all the things we need to feel to get where we're going with joy in our hearts and happiness around us, especially because we're living in some crazy times. So being able to sort of be in the world but not of it, I think is very important. With the Lunar New Year in the Dragon, that is when the New Year, the Chinese New Year starts at the new moon every year, the second new moon of the year, I believe. The Lunar New Year, when the moon moves into Pisces, is going to happen on the 10th. It's the year of the dragon, which is a really lovely year. That same day, we have Mercury squaring Jupiter, which could be like maybe we're a little too big for our britches, or is it britches? Not bridges, britches. We're feeling like a little cocky. There could be some sort of, like, again, the truth comes up to me, like some sort of exposure of the truth, some sort of, like maybe there's been lies being told, but then Jupiter's like, oh, no, we're going to tell the truth. Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, which is very much a truth-seeking energy. I think when you want Jupiter to be benevolent and not amplifying the negatives, leaning into the truth is always the best thing to do, always supportive, because it's got that higher energy, obviously, than a lie. So that same day, we have the moon conjunct Saturn, and it's also sextiling Jupiter. So the Saturn moon energy can help us get very clear about what we want to create, what we're creating in the world, like in a very linear sort of fashion. And we need to be linear to make our plans in this very linear world that we live in. But it's also helpful to get us stabilized and feeling certain of ourselves, because we've dotted the I's and crossed the T's and checked the boxes. The ducks are in a row, that sort of thing. We've got all of these details taken care of, which is very important. And that is the moon moving into Pisces. Sunday, it'll be a day to relax, I think. You'll get to sort of chill out and feel maybe invigorated and do your own thing. Tap into what inspires you. Write notes. See what ideas come to you. Writing is so important to like express this very unexpressible world. So maybe you write poetry or songs or whatever. It doesn't have to be linear, proper writing. It just has to be a way to capture ideas, get it out of you, and get it onto the paper. And then who knows where it'll go from there. But just capturing the ideas, I think, is very good. This is a busy week. The Lunar New Year, going into the year of the dragon, that's powerful. Powerful energy for us to tap into. So do make sure that you make your list, figure out what you want to create. Everything is like really rolling now. All the planets are direct. Chiron is conjunct the North Node. That's a big deal. Pluto and conjuncting Mercury, again, another big deal. The depths are surfacing. Our wounds are healing. We can do this. It just takes a little courage and a little honesty and truth to get through what we're going through. And we'll get through it and tap into this whole new world that we're heading to. We're kind of like in between the worlds right now, but we're going in the right direction. So just know that everything you're doing is right. Tap into what you know you want to create, and be grateful for whatever feelings come up, because you can hold them, you can process them, you can transform them, and you can regain your power. So that is it for this week. Thank you so much for listening, and many blessings for a most wonderful and liberating new moon in Aquarius and the Lunar New Year of the Year of the Dragon.